Hey, it's Pierre. I have a review for you today of the Xamsa Onyx squash racket. This is coming out in 2019 from Xamsa, and as usual, if you see my prior reviews of Xamsa, they have kept the all black color scheme. They've got actually a Xamsa X glue grip on here. I think the default grip is probably going to be black, but for testing I was testing out one of the Xamsa grips. So this just says Onyx right there in the throat, and on the other side Xamsa, I guess it would be like that, and otherwise it's fairly devoid of excessive branding other than the X on the top there. So I think that's cool. And the bumper, I want to point out, is, let's see if I can show you, it's got, the strings are slightly recessed inside the bumper groove there, so that's going to give a lot more, that's going to give some extra protection to your strings. They won't scrape along the floor quite as easily, and that concept continues along the side here, coming all the way down. They are recessed in there as well. It's got a fan stringing pattern. Now this is a new frame shape for Xamsa. They have traditional shapes, they've got teardrops, but this is their first one that's this kind of, I almost want to say, oversized teardrop. I think it must be, I don't have it in front of me, I think it must be 500 centimeters squared, kind of the maximum racket head size that you're allowed. And there are other models from other brands that have kind of like a similar mold, but this is Xamsa's exclusive take on this, and no one else has this particular setup. What I notice about it is you've got these kind of angular lines of it. I think it looks nice. It looks, some rackets look sort of rounded, but this one has almost like a sharp edge to it all along the sides here, and to some extent up at the top of the frame. The construction of it, I think, looks quite nice. In terms of how it played, I was coming off using, I've been playing with different shapes recently, but this is, I've never really hit with one quite like this. It felt really good right away. It felt really forgiving, I want to say. This felt really tolerant of off-center hits. It didn't sometimes have, like, if you hit it right in the middle, you don't feel, sometimes with some rackets that are less forgiving, you hit that center spot and you feel like you hit the jackpot. But this, I felt like there was a much wide, it was more forgiving. I felt when I was making contact in a wider area that, the racket wasn't wobbling, it wasn't chastising me for missing the middle of the strings. And so I thought that was a really pleasant experience. I think this is going to be a good one for those who want a forgiving racket. And the fan stringing pattern is sort of subtle. Sometimes with those fan patterns, I feel like I have to hit the ball way up here, but I think because of this racket is that forgiving. It is forgiving. I didn't feel like I had to hit further up than I normally would be comfortable with. It felt like I could use a lot of the strings. So I did play, and I'm going to put some gameplay video of this up. I did play Ben in a league match today, and he thoroughly dispatched me. And but I don't want to blame the racket. He came in hungry for not exactly revenge, because he beat me last time too, but just not as badly. And afterwards I went out and was just playing with my regular buddies, and this did not take long to adjust to. I was already playing well with it by kind of like the fourth game. I basically pulled it out of the bag and started playing with it without any practice in that match, and was used to it quite quickly, probably after my fourth or fifth game. So I enjoyed this one, the Xamsa Onyx. Thanks to Tim from Xamsa for sending me this racket to review for everybody, and I hope that was helpful. Hey, it's Pierre. So this is some gameplay of the Xamsa Onyx racket. I'm playing a league match against Ben here. It's a bit of a weird camera angle, but we'll do the best we can. Ben's a stronger player than I am, and the last time we played, I gave him a bit of a hard time. He still won, but he came into this match fired up to reestablish his dominance. So we will just get one game of gameplay in here, just to give you an idea of the racket. I'll make a few comments along the way as well. Must have hit that out. He's hitting it with a lot of pace and taking it early, and just the pressure is high right off the bat. It's hard to claw my way to the tee. He's mixing it up really well with balls that are deep and balls that are hit hard, but only a second bounce at the service line, like that one, keeping me stretched and uncomfortable. Good holds too. All I have to do is hit 3 or 4 perfect shots, and I can win a point. Whoops. Darn it.
Almost got that serve return reverse, but just tinned. Shot. Darn, that was a stroke. I think I played pretty well in that game, considering the amount of pressure I was under. But ultimately, he just had too many weapons. And I'm just going to show the one game of this match, but the other two games went pretty much the same as that.